In this video, I'm going to show you how to make the wheel part of the Ferris wheel. We will need two of these in the final assembly for either side of the wheel. They will be joined by little dowels between them, so we need holes to place those dowels, and we're going to use rotational symmetry. So let's have a look at how we do that. We first want a sketch. We want that sketch to be on the front plane, and I'm going to put in a circle that is going to kind of drive all of the measurements for the whole wheel. So I want this circle to be for construction. So you can see that it goes all dashy, and I want it to be a particular size. So I'm going to set the size to 100 millimeters. You will have made a sketch and determined dimensions and done some measurements, so you will have an idea for how big yours should be. I'm just going with 100 millimeters at the moment. Okay, the first thing I need is to have the little spokes of the wheel, so it looks a bit like a ship's wheel. And to do that, I'm going to make paddle pop sticks that go off the top of this circle. So from the top, I'm going to draw one circle. I'm going to make that circle 8 millimeter diameter. Again, all measurements are entirely up to you. And then I'm going to zoom in, because what I want to do is I want to cut that circle in half. And you might think that cutting it at the construction line of the circle is in half, but it's only approximately in half. It's not actually in half. So I'm going to draw a line from one side of the circle to the other, like that, and I can make that line for construction so that the computer ignores it when drawing, but it will still allow me to build stuff based on it. So select that line using this white arrow, select there, and then click for construction, and you'll see that it turns into that dashy style. And now I'm going to trim the circle, and there are some very tiny bits that are difficult to see. Here and here, it will be problematic if we don't trim all of them. So trim this bit here and this bit here. Okay, so now I have what I'm certain is a semicircle, and it is centered on the top of the circle and it has a horizontal line at the base. And now that's the top of my paddle pop stick. So if I go back, zoom to the normal size, I can now draw some vertical lines off the bottom of that and know that they will be in the right place. See that my cursor has a highlight yellow bit that looks like a donut, a circle inside a circle. That donut means I'm currently joining to an already existing line. So I want that donut shape to indicate that I'm joining up with what's already there. And I want to use these dashed lines, which show me the horizontal and vertical alignments to things like the origin or other open curves. And then I get to the other side of the semicircle, and you'll see that my cursor shows a donut to show that it's about to join it properly. If you've done everything right, then this will be grayed in. It means that it's a complete shape. If I use my white arrow, I can click inside that shape and it will select all four of the bits of it. So the arc is the semicircle shape at the top, and these are the three lines. So that's the whole shape, and I want to rotate that shape 8 times around, like copy it 8 times. So we'll copy it 7 more times. So I'm going to click on this circular sketch pattern. And you'll notice that as soon as I do that, it automatically detects that I want to go around this circle, and it gives me 4 of the paddle pop sticks by default. I want to change that from 4 to 8. So you can see that the yellow guides show me where they're going to be. I could make it more than 8 if I wanted to. That's what 12 looks like. I could make it less than 8 if I wanted to. That's what 6 looks like. The one that I've made previously was 8, and so I'm just duplicating it. Once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm going to click this tick button, and I now have 8 of those paddle pop sticks around the circle. Okay, I need to get rid of all of these overlapping lines in the center. I can do that now, or I can do it at the end. I figure I might as well do it now so it gets slightly less confusing than trying to do it all at once. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on this Trim Entities button. And I want to trim everything that isn't one of those clean paddle pop sticks, which is all of those. I can just hold down and continue drawing through as many lines as I want. And then, unfortunately, I do have to get rid of all of these as well. I can do that with Trim Entities, or I could actually use the white arrow and select each of these lines and click Delete separately. It's really up to you. I find that scribbling across it with Trim Entities is a little easier than clicking on each of them individually. But yes, as I said, dealer's choice. Okay, so I'm getting rid of all of those extra lines because extra lines confuse SolidWorks. And there it is, it's all cleaned up. Let's go back to the whole view. And you can see I now have a thing that looks a bit like an asterisk and has no wiggly lines in the center. And now I just want to draw 2 circles that are going to be the wheel, the archy bit that goes around the outside. So let's click on the circle tool. I've centered everything around the origin, so I'm going to continue to do that. I want this to be 45mm radius. Using Smart Dimension, I can set it to 90 diameter. 90. And then I want another circle that's concentric to that circle, but not quite as big. I want there to be about 8mm between, so I want the other one has a radius of 45, so I want this one to have a radius of 37, which is 74 diameter. Type 74. Okay, so these are all my building blocks. And I'm going to now use Trim Entities to remove the overlaps. So those 2 lines and those 2 lines, and I want that on every single one of the paddle pop sticks. We need to wipe out those 2 lines. And we want to wipe out these 2 lines here. Those two, and you'll start to see it form a shape. Those two, and last 2. Okay, so now I have a wheel shape, but I need some holes in this wheel shape. So I'm going to put a hole. Remember, I need to join these 2 wheels together with dowels. The dowels that I used previously was 4mm thick dowel. So I'm going to make that 4mm, and I need 8 of them, but it would take me a long time to draw them all by hand, so I'm going to use a circular sketch pattern again. So underneath linear sketch pattern, we choose circular sketch pattern, and instead of 4, I want 8. And I click on this tick. And there are my 4 holes, and I need 1 hole through the center. And I want that to be a little bit bigger. I want that to be 6mm in diameter. So dimension that to 6mm. That is my complete Ferris wheel. So let's exit the sketch. And to make sure that we know how it's going to look when we cut it out of wood, we want to extrude that, the thickness of wood or acrylic, you could use either. So we want to use extrude boss base, and 10mm is way too big. We're going to type in 3mm. And you can see the thickness on the side. You can see that all of the holes have been cut through, and I'm going to click tick to that. And there is the wheel of my Ferris wheel.